hello, everyone, and thank you so much for being here and for being interested in AI applied to the fintech and the banking industry. So this talk, Smarter Decisions Beyond Fancier Spreadsheets. Don't worry, I'm not gonna mention anything about Excel here, only good stuff. So stay with me, because in this talk, I'm gonna first talk about why is that we are here today, why AI is a disruptive technology, not only like for very niche industry, but also in general, and because the financial sector have been around for a while, like we have been handling money for hundreds of years. So this is gonna have a significant impact. And I'm gonna deep dive into the real value of AI, like with real use cases, the things that I have seen, I have experienced that really works. And I'm going to cover the risks and the things that doesn't work. And I will provide at the end like a framework to answer the right questions if you want to implement an AI solution in a large organization as a bank at a scale. So I would like to start with this figure here. I think is quite interesting. In the y-axis, you see the responses of AI models to a set of questions, a benchmark of PhD level questions. And I think it's very interesting. You see in the x-axis like a timeline. And in the dot, the Dutch blue line, you can see like the average response for like the average human for this set of questions. And what it is interesting is that in the last year, starting from 2025, these models started to get expert human level intelligence. So this has completely changed the game. It's now a time in which AI models are so smart in the sense that they look like superhumans sometimes. And of course, this has consequences. And I'm gonna throw one big bold claim here is that I believe, and many people also believe, that most current human labor will be automated with AI. And of course, this creates a lot of anxiety, and we are living in a very anxious society today because of AI. And this is another super interesting plot when you can see how nervous many countries are with respect to AI. And this is the Ipsos monitor. It's a very well-recognized survey that is run across many, many countries. And it measures the excitement versus how nervous the people are. And as you can see, there are clusters in the Anglo-sphere. These are countries that speak English, and they are also highly developed. There is a lot of anxiety. And as you can see, Sweden is not very excited about AI. It's a bit worrying here. So at the same time that we have this AI anxiety, AI creates new huge opportunities. This is an example. You can see that in the last year, we have seen companies grow very, very accelerated pace. And for the first time in human history, we have a company, Cursor, which is an AI-powered IDE, which we have regenerated $100 million in annual revenue in less than 2 years. This is mind-blowing that AI can create so much value or economic revenue in so short period of time. But well, we are here to talk about the financial sector, right? So AI has been around for a while in the fintech industry, like more than 10 years ago. This is a survey that actually make the question to more than 150 companies about AI, how they implement it in the organizations. And they respond in 2020 that more than 80% of them already implement AI. Because we need to remember that machine learning is a subset of AI as a whole. And of course, we had machine learning, which involves standard algorithms, classification, regression, clustering. And then we had the deep learning revolution. And right now, we have the generative AI revolution. So this has been around for a while in the financial sector. But here's another bold claim that I want to make, is that I believe that generative AI, it is still about patterns and insights from the data. And we have experienced this, like all this power of finding patterns. And one of the best use cases that I would encourage you to see yourself is by coding. Like, just sit down in an IDE, start making questions to the agent, and try to build something. And you will see how far have this system gone in terms of pattern recognition for software development. It's just completely mind-blowing. And the more you get into it, the more excited you are, and the more nervous you get at the same time. So it's amazing. So try by coding. And in the financial sector, of course, it's going to be disruptive in the way software is created for the sector. But also, we need to look at the fine-grained use cases. I'm going to talk about customer service, which is the obvious way in which LLMs are going to disrupt the market. This is an example. So today, you can build highly personalized chatbots that segment the customers. And in real time, they are available 24/7. And they can ask specific questions about you. So they know all your transactions. They know the people that you have transacted your money. They know all your behavior. They can ask in real time what is the best investment strategy for you. They can ask in real time if you are spending too much or not. And this is already implemented. So there are many, many companies that are focused on customer service specifically. It kind of works. And of course, you need a human in the loop in the end. Another thing is fraud prevention and anti-money laundering. This is like another branch within banking that is very, very important, because you need to be compliant with the regulations. So banking is a highly regulated industry, and preventing fraud and preventing anti-money laundering is key for the banks to survive, basically. So AI has tremendous potential for this, and it already shown that. I think the last week I read a LinkedIn post from a PayPal data scientist, and he shares that they developed an LLM that was trained on transactional data, and now this LLM somehow understands the language of transactions. So instead of tokens, instead of tabular data, right now is like text. Every transaction is encoded as a text, and then you have the vector embedding of transactions, and the LLM can, with very high accuracy and very high recall, it would determine if the transaction is a fraud or not. And this is something that was not possible before when we had deep learning. Right now, these models are much more capable in the sense of recognizing fraud. And the use case number 3 is investments and market insight. And this is quite important for banks. This is how banks make money, essentially. So if they invest, and then they need to understand the market in order to do that. And there are many examples for that, but For example, one thing that is commonly applied in all the banks is like fetching a lot of information, news, and then building a database with it, and in real time, querying a model. It could be an in-house hosted model, like a Llama model, or even APIs, because this is not customer data, it's like general data, and then start asking questions and summarizing the information. And this is a very well-known use case in banking, and many organizations are already doing this. But as we know, not everything is perfect, and sometimes AI gets really, really weird responses. And I just learned about this jagged frontier of AI capabilities. And the interesting thing is that sometimes we believe that these AI models have superhuman intelligence. And then when we interact with them, we just realize that they are actually not as intelligent as we saw. So for the same complexity of the question, sometimes they just don't make the right answer. They are very flawed. And this is in the way they are trained, because as I say before, they are mostly very advanced at pattern recognition. So over time, I have seen things that work, things that doesn't work, and things that get really, really ugly. And just to give you one quick overview, AI is in the banking sector is really good at pattern recognition. It's really good at handling documents, like summarizing customers' data, interactions, and so on, or general data overall. And they are also great for learning. Like, for example, the industry has a lot of data that you need to understand, and then that you can query directly, and then you can get an overview of what the model has learned from this data. And this is really, really great. But it's not great for explainability. It's a black box. Even though the model is open weight, you don't know exactly in which data it was trained. And it is tricky with dealing with regulatory compliance, because sometimes you always need a human to double check if it is compliant or not. And it is not good at handling edge cases because of the bias. Like, the model could have learned that, for example, a certain segment of the population is not really good at paying the loan. And this is a risk that you have to double check all the time. So this is the idea. If you are in a large organization, first, focus on the product. Second, you focus on the people to be compliant with all the regulation. And finally, I suggest to focus on the process, like in the implementation. And there are, of course, a lot of business ideas. There are many, many of them. If you are in an organization, you will see the developers really, really excited about AI. And of course, you want to try the latest model, to try the latest things. But not all the time this is good for the business. So first of all, I will focus on asking what is the value that we are providing for the business. Second, I will focus on the risk, understanding if this has some implications for the financial institution. Number 3, you should look at the data. Do you have the data? Because many times we think that we have the data to handle a specific case, and later on you realize, like, okay, you are very far away to be compliant in order to use this data, because right now we have the EU AI Act, for example, then we have GDPR, we have so many barriers to use customer data. And number 4, I will look at the tech. If you have enough expertise to maintain a model which you didn't train and you don't know exactly how it works. And finally, you go and iterate, and then you scale. So this is step by step the kind of questions that I have seen many organizations ask before implementing an AI solution at the scale. And I would like to quote Nicola Mock, which is the head of R&D. It's called SEBX and SEB Banken. And he said that we must be forward-learning and curious with AI, but also ensure compliance with ethical guidelines and keep a human in the loop as long as AI isn't fully reliable. I think this kind of summarizes this idea of it is very exciting, but at the same time, we need to be very, very careful, especially in the finance industry that is highly regulated. Yes, this is my last slide. So I would say, don't forget, AI is not a chatbot. It's a strategic differentiator. And if you like this talk, you can rate it here. Thank you.